Hello everyone, welcome back to the Two-Line Pass. Today we're going to talk about San Jose Sharks second round pick Leo Sahlin Wallenius. I'm going to take a little bit of a chance here because, one, that's what this is all about, right? Like, perfection isn't the bar. NHL teams are fortunate to get one impact player out of a draft. 2 or 3 is an absolute bonanza. I'm a jackpot guy because I believe the draft is the best chance to really impact your roster for the better. No doubt the world needs ditch diggers, but that's what the end of the draft is for. That's what free agency is for. I want to find rarer talent, especially in the first half, first 2/3 of the draft. So even further here, I'm going to go against the micro trend right now. Smaller D-men, even with draft capital, are not in vogue right now. I talked about it in another video where Eric Brandstrom was out. Adam Boqvist is on a two-way deal somewhere. Kalen Addison, who had 30 points in 60 games with Minnesota in 2023, he didn't get a qualifying offer from San Jose. I don't think he's even signed yet. Travis Dermott doesn't have a job right now, so etc. So I'm prepared to be wrong, but I believe in my approach enough, and looking back at my track record on things, I look at my old notes and my old list all the time. I'm happy about my track record. Again, not perfect. Perfection's not the bar. I don't have any say in the player development portion either, right? Because I'm not a player development coach, which matters. Drafting is one thing, development's another thing. So I'll continue to try to improve on my process, but in the moment, I'm going to say the things that I think make some sense, and I'm going to say it on the internet. So again, going against what happened a little bit here is he wasn't drafted until I think 53rd overall. I'm going against the trend in terms of size of D-men, and I'm not even really wild about his athleticism for his size, so that kind of bothers me a little bit. And he hasn't played any pro games in Sweden yet. He didn't make the under 20 World Junior team. So, and I'm going to put him, as a show of, I don't know, good faith, I'm going to put him in his toughest game of the year, which is the U18 World Junior Semifinal against Canada. So I'm setting myself up for total failure here so that you, the audience, can laugh and gawk at my stupidity when this guy becomes a dog walker in 3 years. So I'm doing this for you. So with that said, let's take a look at Leo Sahlin Wallenius, LSW probably for short, as I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation. I'm sorry to all the Swedes out there, but let's dive in. How bad could it go? First shift. First shifts are interesting because some players really try to get themselves in the game, and they do some stuff that may be uncommon to their game to try to get themselves into it. You know, the old give a hit, take a hit thing, if you ever had a coach tell you that. You can kind of sense the excitement in LSW here. Let's see if we can figure out the thought process anyhow and see if it holds. Now, when you're up against it, when you're playing a game where you don't have a lot of room for error, you have to really trust that everyone is going to do their job. And then the stars try to get you over the top with incredible plays. So LSW has eyes on the player in the middle here. He doesn't want to just sit in the low slot and try to eat this, right? He's going to probably end up screening his goalie if he does that, so he wants to make a play. I fully support that. Play doesn't go that way, but then it suddenly becomes a problem off the boards. So this could be construed as a bit of a tough read, but I'm not so sure. He's between the puck and the net. He's got his stick in the lone passing lane, and as luck would have it, the lone shooting lane. The player that's loose would ordinarily be his guy because he's the low D-man, but he's a lefty at a low angle, so we're really talking about maybe risk calculation here. Who's the biggest threat? The player he's defending is an interior shot, so I'm okay with this read. Let's see. He breaks it up clean. That's a plus skating play. If you want to hesitate on calling it a plus read, okay, let's be patient on that. A good result doesn't necessarily mean a good read. I read some of the stuff online that he's this pace-pushing defenseman and blah, 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 but look at the discipline here. In what could be a fast break that he created, but he knows this isn't clean. This is muddled at the exit. And watch the restraint and the discipline. He's by far the last guy back, and he doesn't leave any Canadian player behind them. And he was right. He gets the retrieval. He can't quite manipulate F1 enough here. I wish he would have reversed it because he did enough to turn the skates that way. He turned all the Canadian skates towards the wall. I would have reversed it, so I would have liked him to go against the flow of pressure there. But we'll live. He's a player that plays unapologetically on his toes, but he has the recovery skating to adapt quickly. Now, angles really matter. If you go straight at this player, you're vulnerable as a D-man because now that forward has 2 ways to play off of your heels instead of 1. But if you angle him properly, you can cut those options in half and end up winning the situation. Really good angle here. Forces a tough play. Now again, this is a tricky spot because the Swedes have their own forwards and their own crease. So LSW addresses the puck a bit, but I don't see any real intent to go all the way out there. He's trying to bait him into a pass to Canada's left dot, and then he covers the lane to player 16 over there in one motion. This goal bores a hole in the goalie from way out in right field, so what can you do? He takes the minus, but it wasn't his fault. Quick shift here. I don't want to hide it. I guess the right defenseman just doesn't trust this forward to do the job, so he leaves his check open, and he whammos it past the goaltender. LSW is a -2 in 3 shifts, but I'm not sure that he is on the hook for any of this. All right, nothing really happens on this shift, so we'll just zip through it. During my intro, I showed off some puck skills because it's pretty straightforward to see that kind of stuff. I like his hands. I really like his passing ability. He has a pretty weak shot, but I like digging in on the shift by shifts on players like this because you can kind of dispel some of the easy boilerplate stuff that some people try to pass off in their reports out there. Oh, he's a smaller offensive defenseman, so therefore he must be not very good defensively, or he's really easy to play against. Well, is that true? Let's take a look at another shift where he starts out on the back foot. Good positioning on this rush absorption, and it has some 3-on-2 leanings here, but it's not pure. He scans the situation because he's in good position to do so. The puck carrier is going to cut across before the entry. This can be a really advanced move to basically make the initial strong side defenseman irrelevant and allow for an isolation play on the play side. But no panic from LSW here, maintains good gaps, and then he gets his opportunity. Nice transition skating to go back for it. He's going to try to chip it into safety, which is against the flow of Canada here. So that's smart. It's a harder play for him because he's on his backhand, but it's a better play than trying to go up the boards where Canada would quickly outnumber and get this puck. I talked in previous videos about guys passing off problems and not taking responsibility for improving the play. He's making a harder play himself to try to improve the situation for his team. That's really good. It does fail, and it ends up going back up the boards anyhow, which Canada retrieves easily. He wastes no time picking up the low man and working on the box out. Canada gets it back again, and he's not just staring at the puck with his mouth open. He reads the body posture of the Canadian point man and goes, okay, better find the check on my check on the weak side here, and he's ready to box out again. The puck winds around behind, and he takes another proper angle and makes a physical close off, and the Swedes win the puck back. Is he done? Nope. He provides big-time weak side rotation support, beating Canada back up the ice to try to create a fast break the other way. Jack Berglund, I think this is in the near side here, in the near ground, the Philadelphia second rounder, seems dead set on just dumping this puck in, which is his style of play anyway, so nothing comes from it. LSW supports the play, then when he sees it's dead on arrival, he peels off for a change. But is this a reckless player? It doesn't seem that way to me so far. Alright, next shift. Canada is loose again. LSW must have been reading this because he wasn't even all the way up on the offensive blue line, and it's a good thing. Lead dog here is going to try to set a pick on the entry and ensure that the speed of the puck coming out of the zone is unbroken entering the zone. LSW doesn't get swept into that, and because of the miss, and it's pretty carelessly done, but because of the miss, the Swedes gain some advantage in the 2-on-2 back. LSW lays his stick out there to try to prevent a potential kick-out entry, so that's good. The puck ends up being brought in, shot wide, it wraps up the boards. No hesitation. LSW is right on his guy, who is the biggest threat at the moment. With the Canadian point man now coming downhill, he makes the right call, switches off to take the puck. Smart play, and oh boy, is he ready for it. He puts a good hit in there. Now, again, picks his man back up and realizes, okay, I'm really pushing it here. I'm way off on my partner's side. Better get back to square here. Reevaluates the situation, realizes everyone is basically in the right spot, so I'll get back to my side, pick up my check again, and moreover, he shoves him right out of the play. Good box out. And look here, and it's little stuff that tells you, right? Like, again, you look at the results and you go, oh, he's a -2 in 3 shifts, blah, blah, blah. But it's the little stuff that makes you realize the mental acuity of a player. Look at this shoulder dip here. That's the I'm ready to box you out too, man. That's that body posture. And it doesn't come to blows, but he's ready. I'm just having a tougher and tougher time believing that this player isn't aware and engaged defensively. That's not what the tape says. So moving forward here, basically the entire country is on this side of the dots in their offensive zone. He has the skating ability to address the far point man if that guy's even still on the ice. If the puck somehow makes it all the way over to the far point through everyone. So let's put the screws on the biggest threat. This left-handed shooting player here has the pass catching advantage. So LSW starts oiling up the clamps. It doesn't go there, but he's in the right spot to get the puck. Does he go right up with it? Right? And again, it's the little stuff that you start sewing it together. What the decision-making process is, you start sewing it together, and you get a clue just how high the hockey sense is. Does he go right up with it? No, because there's no advantage to headmanning it here, because his teammates aren't ready to support the play. That guy doesn't have enough strides built up to really take it. So he holds it as long as he can to make sure that player 11 on Canada here has to honor him. Then he outlets it. If he gets it up right away, he sets his teammate up to run right into a potential Canadian ambush, and he'd have no place to go with it because he'd have no help. That hesitation allows his mate a much higher probability of getting the puck out of the zone, first and foremost, and lessens the risk of his need to ice it. This is pretty savvy stuff for my taste. I like it. So just for completeness, I'll let the rest of the period run out here and wrap this up. So while he is a really nimble player and really quick, I do wonder a bit about his hip mobility and his ability to drive through turns. It's almost like he skates above the ice, so to speak. So I do have some concerns about his ability to really dig in against tougher competition. But he has a couple of things going for him that can help him compensate, and that's his hockey sense and his compete level. He's an enthusiastic player. Like, we saw him play the body, we saw him compete down low. I think the puck skills are clearly a plus. I think the veritable cornucopia of primary assist variants shows some high-end creative playmaking ability. I would have certainly considered taking this player in the first round because I want the upside. There's a number of players that went in the first round that I think only have bottom 6 winger upside or bottom pair D-man upside. And hey, maybe those guys are the ones that play and LSW doesn't. I understand that very real possibility, but I'd still rather take a reasonable shot at the upside here. For me personally, this player is sort of my mind's eye redo of Yegor Savikov. No one knows who Yegor Savikov is, but I had Savikov as a second or a third round pick in the 2021 draft, and he was never picked at all. But now he's a productive 20-minute D-man in the KHL for Spartak, so I'm basically going to pretend that whatever happens with LSW is what would have happened with Savikov if Russians were on equal footing when it comes to the NHL Entry Draft. So that weird double vicarious nonsense aside, I think this is terrific value for San Jose because there's big pluses in smarts, skill, skating, and compete here. You could argue maybe the Sharks got 4 first-round caliber players because they got Celebrini and Dickinson, and then you got the Russian Trevor Connolly, and then you have LSW here. So I think San Jose fans should be really happy with this draft. Let me know what you think below, and I'll talk to you next time on the Two Line Pass. Thanks so much.